You know, I get to, when I talk with people in this room, and I find out some of the stories, some of the miracles that are in this room, it's mind-boggling to think there's this many supernatural interventions of God here, all at one time. And we have some friends that just joined us tonight from, I met in Singapore 9 months ago. Where are you guys sitting at? I didn't see where you're. Why don't you guys come on up here, would you? I met them in Singapore. Are you guys from Malaysia? Malaysia, okay. Well, come on up. If you don't mind, come on all the way up here. We'll just embarrass you to pieces. And 9 months ago, Jesus did such an extraordinary thing. Why don't you just tell people what Jesus did for you?
Yeah. 9 months ago.
Is this on? Yeah. It is, okay.
I was diagnosed with stage 4 bone cancer. And from the PET scan, the oncologist discovered that the tumors were all over my bones, my spine, neck, my rib cage, and pelvic bones. In fact, there were so many tumors in the bones that the oncologist said that he couldn't count the number of tumors in my bones. He told me then, in March, it was incurable and it's the final stage. In fact, the tumors has eaten up the spine, some of the vertebrae, and it has become hollow. And I was in excruciating pain. I couldn't lie down, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat with my right hand, I couldn't move. Even going to do the daily necessities in the bathroom, in the restroom was so tough, and movement was so restricted. And the oncologist told me then that he intended to do radiation on me to kill the pain first, to sustain me, and then to start chemo immediately. But then what happened was, back in December 2011, 3 months before the diagnosis, I actually heard about this conference called Kingdom Invasion in Singapore through my eldest brother John, who resides in Singapore. So I registered then in December, not knowing what will happen to me down the road. And when the PET scan report was out, it was 3 days before the conference. And I told the oncologist, I'm not going to start treatment. In fact, in 2010, I was diagnosed with bilateral breast cancer. He gave me very aggressive chemotherapy, and the whole thing came back within a year on my bones. So I told him this round, I said, I don't have the peace to do chemo somehow. I just want to go down to Singapore because I've registered myself for prayer. And he was stunned. He said, how are you going to go down to Singapore with this condition? You can hardly move. I told him, I don't know. I said, I literally don't know. I couldn't talk properly. I was breathless because I was holding on to the pain. He gave me painkiller to kill the pain. I told him this, I said, I just know that I needed to go down to Singapore. That's all. Then he said, I don't know. It has to be your own decision. I have nothing to do with it. But this is what I need to tell you, is that you don't have much time left. So I asked him, tell me, how much time do I have? He said, I can't tell you. 3 months, 6 months? Bottom line is you don't have much time left. So I told him, okay, I take responsibility over my own decision. I'm going. So somehow, the flight down was a miracle. I prayed really hard. My husband prayed really hard. My brother prayed really hard. I said, I'm not sure how I'm going to fly down because bit of movement was killing. It was like all the tissues were torn in my body, and there's a sharp knife that cuts all over my body. It was that excruciating pain. So I said, God, you got to help me. You got to help me. I knew something was going to happen when I go down to the conference. I don't know Pastor Bill Johnson at all. I don't know any of the key speakers at all. I don't know anybody there. I just heard from my eldest brother, John, who resides in Singapore, that this conference is really good. And miracles happen. That's all. That's all. So I just go by faith. And God was so good. You know, when the plane landed, I was praying in tongues. I was like, oh, God, help me, help me, help me. And when the plane landed, boom, 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 there was no pain. I thought I was healed. But then when the plane stopped, and I said, oh, the pain was there. But the Lord helped me when the plane landed. There was no pain. I could, go through that flight. And when I was in the conference, that's what I told the Lord. I said, God, you got to heal me. There is no other way out. Matthew 4 says, Jesus went around in the province, in the villages, and he healed all diseases. All, you said, God, all. Mine is included. I said, God, mine is included. I don't know how you're going to heal me, but I know you must heal me, and you can heal me. And I tell you, God was so good. I was walking this way in the conference. There were so many people, 8,000 to 9,000 people. My husband and my brothers, they were like bodyguards. They were like guarding me, because anyone who knocks me is like, it's killing. And I was praying. I said, God, I cannot go back to Malaysia this way, because if I'm going back this way, I'm going back for my own funeral. That's it. Wow. Because the doctor says nothing can be done anymore. And that night I was praying. Day 1, nothing happened yet. But I was still in faith, hoping. Day 2, suddenly, after Pastor Bill Johnson preached that night, somehow he said, tonight, I'm going to pray for bones. When he mentioned bones, I was excited. I said, God, it has to be my night. It has to be my night. And then Pastor Bill Johnson started to operate in word of knowledge. He started to call out, sicknesses, different kinds of bone diseases. I was paying attention. I was holding on to the pain and waiting for attention. I said, God, you have to be specific so that I know. So that I know it's me. You're going to heal me. It has to be specific. And suddenly, after one sickness after another, the Pastor Bill Johnson called out. Suddenly he said, someone here has got tumors in your bones. When I heard that, my spirit lifted up, my heart came alive. I said, God. Oh God. Amen. Amen, Jesus. Amen. I said, God, that's me. So I stood up, I lifted up my left hand. I couldn't lift up my right hand because it was so painful. But because Pastor Bill Johnson said, I wanted him to notice me. There were like 8,000 to 9,000 people. We were like ants down there. And I wanted him to take notice. I was sitting somewhere around that corner. Yeah. Somehow, Pastor Bill, he just turned and said, I knew it's someone from here. And he spotted me. Being so little there, he spotted me. And guess what? His word was so specific. He said, the Lord wants to heal you tonight. I'm so glad for the word he wants, because Pastor Bill didn't say that night, the Lord will heal you. He said, the Lord wants to heal you tonight. That was such a powerful word, like a sword, piercing into my spirit and my soul. And I received that word that night. And the excruciating pain starts to reduce. I felt sensation all over my back. It was like electricity all over my back. And that night itself, those who were healed, we were encouraged to start to do the movement that we couldn't do. So I took the step of faith to start moving my body. It was so tough to move. But that night, after prayer, I started to move. I started slowly because I was so afraid of the pain. It kills. The pain really kills. And then when I moved it, I realized that, hey, things are different now. and then I told the people around me, hold on there. Don't pray yet. I want to try my left side. And I started to move. I said, I can move. And then I said, hold on. I couldn't lift up anything. And I have a pink bag. So I said, hold on, don't pray yet. I'm going to try. And I started lifting up the bag. I can do it. I can do it half the height. And I couldn't be bothered about people sitting around me because of the pain. I don't even know who sat behind me. But that night after prayer, I started to move. And I can